Well, as the music fades out, let me wish you a very, very good evening. A very warm welcome to the B. Braun Sheffield Sharks player announcement channel. My name is Mike Shaft. I'm a big fan of basketball, both over here and NBA as well. My goodness, there's been some endings in the return of the NBA in the States. Absolutely sensational. Now, for the past 5-6 weeks, we've been announcing the new signings for the Sharks for the coming season. And today it's a very special announcement. And I will introduce him now, and then we'll get into the conversation. You'll know why I say it's a very special announcement. The next signing for your B. Braun Sheffield Sharks for the coming season, whenever it happens, is Marko Backovic. Marko, let me wish you a very, very good evening, sir.
And to you, Mike, and to you.
Thank you for taking the time. Welcome back for the next season. What does this signing do for you? What does it mean to you?
No, it's exciting. You know, wasn't 100% sure if a team will want me back at the end of last season, but you know, thankfully, he's asked me to come back, and we're looking forward to an exciting season. And you know, I know there's going to be plenty of more exciting signings to come. So yeah, it's exciting times.
Well, we've had some exciting ones so far. I mean, it's building into a really nice team. Now, I said just before I introduced you that this is a very special announcement for me because you were born in 97, is that correct?
It is, yep.
And I think my first season with the Sharks was 99, somewhere around there, okay? So I've watched you from being this big to where you are now. What's it like growing up so close to a basketball club?
I mean, obviously, it's a different point of view, I suppose, because obviously, first and foremost, you're a fan. So I was a fan way before I even thought about playing basketball, way before I even dreamed of playing for the Sharks or playing any level of basketball, really. So you just go there as a fan enjoying the games.
Can you see this photo, by the way?
Yeah, I can see the photo. You haven't aged a day, Mike. I think you've aged less than I have.
You have.
Yeah. No, it's like I say, it's a privilege to be able to, you know, actually wear the jersey now. And you know, like I always say, you know, when I do stop playing, whenever that will be, I'll just be back in the crowd like I was before. So yeah, it's a privilege.
I've always wanted to ask you this question. What's it like, okay, in practice, where you are going up against guys like Dirk Williams, for instance, or Mackie McKnight and these guys, week in, week out, every practice, because all 12 players are playing at the same time, all the time in practice. Give me an idea.
Well, it's tough. I mean, you know, we've always had a really strong five, and then, you know, we like to think the rest of the bench complements that.
Yeah.
So obviously, a lot of the time in training, you're having starters against the bench. So you're going against these intense guys, these top players, and you know it can be tough. Sometimes you know you might win that day, and that's a great day, and they're not too happy, and then the next day they're coming back all guns blazing. So no, it's a great experience, and it definitely helps us get better. It helps us ready for when we need to step in and do our bit on the court, and yeah, it's good. But I mean, like you know, Mike, I've been around the program for a while now, and that dates back to going against, you know, your BJ Holmes, your Jeremy Simmons, you know, all them type of dudes, and some old guy called Mike Cook around. Yeah, I was gonna say Mike Cook, all them guys. So yeah.
Listen, before you started playing for the Sharks, obviously you got into the game. You played at the university. Give me an idea of some of your youth basketball, please.
Yeah, so I started playing when I was about 10, 11. Ended up playing for the junior Sharks as it was at the time. Was lucky enough at the age of 12 to get invited to like the national team program, so like the England squad. So I was 12 and the guys at the time were 15. So I got asked 2 years early to go and train with the national team, and ended up playing for England for a number of years. I was lucky enough to play all around the world, playing for various age groups, you know, picked up just over like 60 caps. So I had a very good junior career. Yeah, so I played at the highest level, played at 2 European championships. And yeah, so I had a really strong junior career. And then I think, like most will know, when you make that step from junior to professional, it's a lot bigger than you think it's going to be. You know what I mean? So like in my head, I was like, oh, I'm playing for England.
You're ready.
Yeah, I'm ready. You know what I mean? I'm like, why am I not playing, 30 minutes a game now? But Yeah, so it's a different level, and obviously it took me a couple of years. Now I'm fairly comfortable at the level. I'm just trying to play my part for us to be successful.
And how tough a job do you have coming off the bench, kind of cold, with the situation on the court going on, and you keeping up with it the best you can? What's it like stepping out there and having to hit 90 miles an hour straight away?
I feel like there's pros and cons to it. So I think a pro is you get to get a feel of how the game's being played, at what pace, and then you can come in and then you know what to expect. But obviously, like you say, it depends how long. You're not always going to go in the first quarter either. So there's been times where I've not got it until the second or third quarter, and you are tired. You've got to try and catch up. It's just an effort thing. It's just a mindset. I mean, for me, because obviously I'm a fan first and foremost, I just want us to win. So if I'm not as obsessed with my minutes as maybe certain other people might be, fair enough. But I just know when I come in, I want to be effective as best as I can. Whatever our scouting plan is, try and implement that, and just go from there, really.
What would you say is one of the best games you've had so far?
I think if you ask me and the team, I feel like the London Lions game at home this year in the league, stats wise, it didn't look amazing, but I played a lot and I had a pretty good game. When we break stuff down, if you look at what we're actually trying to do, that was probably the best of it. It was just you know what I mean? It was just everything was going right for me that day. So
well, I wanted to bring this up as well, because with all due respect to a lot of fans, they don't see the stuff that goes on that the coach wants you to do, to set picks, to get the other guys open, to do some of the dirty work that has to be done. And then you get open and you put up a three. And I mean, sometimes it goes in. Is that you or me?
That's me, I think. Sorry.
Don't worry. This is live. We don't mind. So tell me about the dirty work that you have to do.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Mike, it's, not everyone can shoot the ball every play. Not everyone can get all the stats. So setting screens, making sure your rotations are right, making sure you're vocal, making sure, you're getting the right people open. Obviously, when you look through our teams, we've got guys who can get a lot of points up. And, sometimes you don't really recognize unless you know what we've been working on, that stuff that goes into getting the people open. So it's just part of the job, it's not. It's just what has to be done to help the team, and I'm more than happy with being that role. That's fine with me.
That W.
Yeah.
Now listen, as well as playing, you're now part of the organization. Tell me about your role with the Sharks off the court, please.
Yeah. So as you said before, obviously I went to university and I did a degree in business management, sports management. So I've always had an interest anyway in how the business works. And Joel Mills used to be the head of community and head of operations. He actually moved on, so a role came open for the head of community, which basically we've got probably the biggest community program in all the Sheffield clubs. So we work very closely with two of our main sponsors, obviously B. Braun and Cannon, and we work with over 2,500 kids every year. So it's my job is basically coordinating all of that, various tournaments, various sessions, working with Cannon and B. Braun very closely and making sure everyone's happy at the end of the day. So, yeah.
And it's a very important role, because when you've got sponsors of that caliber, they have got to love what you do, because they can spend their money wherever they want to. And they have got to feel that they're getting something from the Sharks Junior program that helps their organization.
No, totally. I mean, that's what they are. They're essentially CSR schemes, which is corporate social responsibility. So big companies like B. Braun and Cannon have to be seen to be giving back. And thankfully, they love the work that we do, and through us, they help fund us, and we do various community programs, which, thankfully impact our communities in a good way. And, they've both stuck by us now for a while. B. Braun over 10 years now. So obviously, we're doing something right, and, it's my job to keep that going, and so far, so good.
Now, as I mentioned before, you're 23 years old. You've played 9 seasons for the Sharks. Haven't missed a season. What's that like?
Well, it's, you'll know, and any fan who's been coming for a while, I've probably only been playing for the past, 3, maybe 4 seasons. So for the early days, it was just about being a good teammate, working out in practice, just trying to be, I just carry all the bottles, carry all the bags. Me and Eddie Brownell, for a couple of years. And it's just, that's almost like your apprenticeship, it's where you learn how he should be, what it takes to be a good teammate. You know, we've had some great players, but every now and then, no matter how young you are, if they're having a bad game, you can help pick them up. You know, you don't have to play to have an impact. And I think that's important. And I think that's definitely helped me to this day. You know what I mean? Like, to try and be a good teammate always. And yeah, it's amazing. I can't believe that I've even got to a point where I've been able to play for the Sharks. So to be here for so long, Natiba, you know, still having me back, it's, you know, it's a privilege.
And he can and will at some point say, Marko, that's it. Thanks very much.
No, I mean, I'm the first one to say, you know, if I don't do me no favors, I mean, if you want me out, I'll play. If you don't want me, no problem. You know, I'm more than happy to step aside, but he's the one asking me, so here I am.
Excellent. Now, 23 years old, been playing since you were knee-high to a grasshopper. Tell me about some of the great Sharks players you've played with over the years.
Well, you know, this is when it gets controversial because I don't want to miss anybody out. But if you go back to when me and Eddie we first started training with the first team and sitting on the bench and whatnot, I don't know what you'll remember yourself, Mike. We had a great team that came second in the league that year, and probably, you know, we were unlucky not to win it. So you had dudes like BJ Holmes, you know, Texas A&M, played for Team USA as a junior, you know, top player. You had Jeremy Simmons, who was lightning. You had Olu Babalola. You had Mike Tuck. You had all these guys, you know what I mean? And then as the years go through, we had some, you know, amazing players like Dirk Williams, Chris Alexander. You know what I mean? There's just to name a few, Tony Roblicki, you know. So we've been blessed as an organization, you know. And I feel like that's a testament to Atiba and his coaching staff, because we've always been competitive every year. You know, to not miss the playoffs for however long we've been running for is impressive. You know, most clubs can't say that. So, yeah, I've been lucky. Played with a lot of good players.
Now, I ask all the players that we've spoken to so far about this. Give me your take on the lockdown and how it happened.
Well, we had a game in Worcester, and I remember we had a meeting before the game, and it was, you know, it was management and players, and it was basically said, listen, obviously the players, your health and safety comes first. And I think that was made known. But obviously everyone's looking at the news, all the American dudes looking on social media and all the stuff that was happening over there. So it was kind of like, it was the unknown. You know what I mean? Like, no one really knew what was going to happen. I don't know. So we played Worcester. Didn't go too great for us that day. I think a lot of stuff was playing on people's minds. And then, yeah, that night, the guys, you know, felt safe to go home, and I feel like everyone supported that. I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, you don't know what was coming. You didn't know how serious it was going to be. So, yeah, it was crazy because I remember personally, I went from being training every morning and working in the office till 6, 7 o'clock at night to just being at home every day. So it was surreal. It went from like 100 to 0.
So did the office close down immediately, or did you have to go back to work the morning after?
So I believe, if I can remember correctly, we were still in the office for a few more days, because we also run a community classroom with Sarah Carpenter, who was the Sharks teacher.
Yeah.
And me and her were at the classroom, and we were told while we were there in the morning, we had to send everybody home. All the alternative provision was shut down. So yeah, it was crazy. It was like within 5 days of the Worcester game, everything was locked down. The office was locked down, and obviously the playing side was locked down. So yeah, it was crazy.
Now, another question I've asked most of the players is the Sharks fans. Now, you're on the bench there in front of it all,
yeah,
with us being at Ponds Forge, which I'll come on to in a moment. You have your back to the crowd. How do you feel? Tell me about the crowd and their effect on what's going on the floor.
You know, I can't stress enough. When your team's behind you, when they're cheering for you, when the atmosphere is buzzing, as a player, you know, you feel like you can run that bit quicker. You feel like you can jump that bit higher. You feel like you can dive that bit further for a ball. You know what I mean? It's like it's a motivation, and I think it's underestimated sometimes. And I feel like if you look at the football, you know, when they came back with no fans, I feel like certain teams showed that.
Yeah.
No, they didn't have the backing of the fans, and you know, I can't stress enough how important it is. You know, and it's important for them to know. You know, we're always, every single player is trying to do their job, trying to win it every game. So, yeah, it's amazing. You know, when the fans are behind it, there's nothing better.
Sharks have been in the news today about Ponds Forge. Now, give me your take, please, on what's been announced today.
Well, I mean, all we know at the minute is I know the Sheffield Sharks and I know the Sheffield City Trust, whoever plays SIV, are working very closely to try and resolve the matter. I'm sure there'll be news to follow with that, but for right now, that's really all we know.
Well,
So
for somebody who hasn't heard the news, is that Ponds Forge is closing till further notice. I think that's the best way of putting it. Where does that leave the Sharks?
listen, the Sharks, obviously it's awkward because we haven't got our place to play right now, but there will be arrangements will be made and we'll be fine. So like I said, it's not. I don't want. No one should worry. Like the Sharks aren't going to go under. It's nothing like that. It just means we might not be opening at Ponds Forge, but you never know. There's still time. Our first game might still be at Ponds Forge.
Well, this is it. This is the point I was going to make. Nobody knows when basketball is going to restart. So,
no, precisely,
it may restart a long time after Ponds Forge reopens. So we just have to hang on in there, as the saying goes.
Yeah,
what are you looking forward to most about the next season?
I'm looking forward to, I know we've not had all the signings announced yet, but already we brought back a good team and there's some more good ones to come. I think it's going to be an exciting year. I think, I feel like Callum Jones. I mean, I thought that was a great signing. I've been saying for years, I feel like we should have tried to get Callum Jones from Manchester, but thankfully he's here now. So yes, I'm excited. Looking forward to going back to training and giving it a good crack.
And when do you start training?
We've got a session tomorrow, and then we'll pretty much start our summer sessions until pre-season now.
Excellent. Well, Marko, thank you very much indeed for all the hard work that you do for the team. I know I see it. Not everybody does, but I see it. Thank you for taking the time to do this broadcast today, and all the very best for the coming season whenever it starts.
Cheers, Mike. And take care, everybody.
Thanks a lot, sir. And there it is, our next player signing for the B. Braun Sheffield Sharks. We'll have another one of these next Wednesday at 7:30. Do hope you'll be able to join us then. We are building an awesome team. Take my word for that. Thanks for being with us tonight, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.